Where did the button go? What did eBay do with this button? Where did it go? eBay has this button called sell one like this or sell similar on the mobile app specifically. You can look at someone else's listing, and if you're trying to list the same thing, you can hit sell one like this, and it recreates the listing using all of the same data from that listing. It saves you a bunch of time. It's awesome. But for some reason this past week, eBay got rid of the button. Where did it go? Good news. It's not gone forever. They relocated the button. So I'm going to show you where that new button is located. I'll show you how to do sell similar from mobile. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about relisting and selling similar on eBay because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And so I want to clear up all that misinformation. So first of all, let's talk about insertion fees. So as an eBay seller, eBay gives you an allotment of quote free listings that you get every month. And that just means you can list 250 items per month or whatever your limit is. And then if you list over that amount, you get charged an insertion fee. I can't remember, 35 cents, 40 cents, something like that. So if you go over your allotment of quote free listings, eBay charges you that insertion fee. And when you relist things as well, you get charged that same insertion fee, or you get charged against that allotment of free listings. And so each month eBay relists your listings for you, your fixed price listings, your buy it now listings. They relist it for you. How generous of them. They relist those for you, but they don't actually relist it. It doesn't give it a new eBay item ID. It doesn't create a new listing. It just sort of like, I would call it a renew. It renews your listing. It's basically just a way for eBay to charge you for your existing listings against your allotment of free listings. When eBay renews your listings like that, it's not considered a new listing in search. And so a lot of sellers, myself included, like to end their listings and relist them or sell similar. And what that does is very similar to what eBay does when they renew your listings, but it creates an entirely new listing. It copies your old listing that you've ended, and it relists it, and it creates a new eBay item ID and effectively treats it as a new listing in search. And that's really important because the longer something is listed, there's more of a chance that it gets buried in search results. And this is especially true if the listing is in a highly saturated category like, Nike clothing or something like that. And I have a lot of evidence of me ending listings and then relisting them and them selling. This will be something I'll show you here in a few minutes. I'll show you 4 or 5 just from this week where they were listed for over a year, and I ended them and I relisted them, and then they sold within a couple days. And so ending and relisting manually like that is a really good idea. It's a good way to freshen up your store. It's a good way to sell older items that haven't sold, but that's very different than when eBay relists something for you. So when you're doing it manually, eBay gives you 2 options. There's either a relist or a sell similar. And I think this is where a lot of misinformation is out there. A lot of sellers like to use the sell similar feature thinking that it's better than the relist feature, but they're the exact same. They do the exact same thing. So whether you end your listing and hit relist or end and hit sell similar, they're going to do the exact same thing. They're going to recreate the listing. They're going to create a new eBay item ID, and it's going to appear new in search, whether you hit relist or sell similar. And again, that's different from when eBay does it for you. When eBay does it for you, they don't create a new eBay item ID. So we'll show you here. I'm going to pull up my ended listing. We're going to go down to listings, down to ended, and we're going to just pick one of these. Let's pick this seafood shell waffle mold here. This is an ended listing. I'm going to go ahead and open it up just so you can see it. You ended this listing. You can see the item ID right there ends in 650. What I'm going to do is just hit the relist button right there. And it's going to carry over all the information from before. My photos, my title, all my metadata there, my description, everything is carried over there. I'm just going to go ahead and hit list. And it's now listed. I'm going to open up that new listing. Here's the active listing right here. Now look at that eBay item ID. It ends in 199. The old one ended in 650. So hitting relist just created an entirely new listing with a new eBay item ID. Let's repeat that process. I'm going to go back to ended here, and we're going to use this fact and story readers primer to test the sell similar. So here you go. This is an ended listing. It ends in 301 right up there, 301. We're going to go ahead and sell similar. So I'm going to checkbox it, and I'm going to hit sell similar. Again, exact same thing is going to be happening. It's going to pull in the images, pull in the title, pull in all my information, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and list it. And we'll view the listing. And there it is. There's the active listing ending in 643. And there's the old ending old listing ending in 4301. So again, exact same listing, but a new eBay item ID on both of those. So on the channel, when I talk about ending and relisting, I use the word relist. I use that to mean both relist and sell similar because again, they're the exact same thing. But I always get comments. I always get people in the comments saying like, oh, do you mean sell similar? Again, they're the exact same thing. Whether you click relist or click sell similar, they do the exact same thing. So you can use them interchangeably. The only thing that's different is when eBay relists it for you automatically every month. That does not create a new eBay item ID. So that's the difference. We're working on a feature right now on Flipwise to automate ending and relisting for you because, again, eBay relists things for you once a month. You get charged an insertion fee or against your allotment of free listings when they do that, but it doesn't create a new eBay item ID. It's not treated as a new listing. So what this feature does on Flipwise, which will be coming soon, right before eBay is set to relist your item for you, Flipwise will automatically end the listing and relist it using a new eBay item ID. So while you would have been charged against your allotment of free listings or an insertion fee for eBay's, not very good relist that doesn't actually create a new eBay item ID, Flipwise will just like jump in and do that for you right before eBay does so that you get the value out of that relist by creating a new eBay item ID. So if you're a Flipwise user, that'll be coming to the platform very soon. Let's take a look at the eBay app. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can sell one like this from someone else's listing, even though they got rid of that button. So what you want to do, let me just pull it up. I don't remember exactly how it works. So if you pull up the eBay app and just open up any listing from someone else, here's a pair of vintage underwear. It used to be somewhere down here. I can't remember exactly where, there was, I think it was down here near seller's other items. There used to be a button called sell one like this. Now what you do up at the top right hand corner, there's those three dots. There you have the sell one like this. So they just moved it. It's kind of annoying. It used to be on the actual listing itself. Now it's at this 3-dot action button in the top right hand corner. Click that, click sell one like this, and you'll be able to copy the contents of that person's listings, add your own photos, make some adjustments, and list it directly. So it's definitely a good thing to do. It definitely speeds up the process quite a bit, but they just moved it. So that's the new location. Welcome back to my weekly show where I talk about the ups and downs and in-betweens of selling on eBay. It's been a while since I've said that. All right, let's jump into my sales for the week. I had a really good week. Look at this, gross sales of $1,790 and a net sales of $1,037. Really good for the last 7 days. Also, we're just in March. It's a typically slow, but I just had a really good weekend, and I attribute my sales here, not all of my sales, but a good portion of my sales for the week because I've been testing this feature on Flipwise that we're building to automate the ending and relisting. And I've just sold a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't have sold had I not been automatically ending and relisting them. And so let's just look. I'll just show you some of these as an example. They're not in my top 10 sales, so I'm just going to show you now. Check this out. I got this teapot here at a garage sale last summer. You can see here I listed on August 4th. On March 5th, so what was that, like 5 days ago, I ended it and I relisted it on March 5th, and then it sold on March 8th, 3 days later. And so this thing had been listed for 7 months. I ended it and relisted it, and it sold within 3 days. So that's one example. Let's look at another one really quick. This is another example right here, this Black & Decker lids off. Check this out. Listed on January 4th. I ended it again on March 5th as a part of this testing, relisted on March 5th, and it sold on March 9th, so 4 days later. That's after sitting over a year. Over a year that one sat without selling. Here's another one, this vintage SeaWorld trucker hat. I bought it on August 9th, listed it on August 9th also. I entered it on May 24th and relisted on May 24th. It still didn't sell then. So it's not foolproof. It's not going to make something sell no matter what. But I ended it on February 12th, relisted it on February 12th, and it sold on March 3rd. So this was about 2 weeks, but still, it had been listed for over a year. This is a good one, Sim Earth, the Living Planet. I bought this June 7th, listed it June 9th, ended it March 2nd, relisted it March 2nd, and it sold March 8th, 6 days later. One more here, this Verizon Novotel. I purchased it back in October and listed it, relisted it on March 6th, and then it sold on March 9th, 3 days later. So there's 5 examples. That's from this week alone. That's just this week, me testing, ending, and relisting. These things selling that have been listed for over a year that sold within a couple of days of ending and relisting. So it's really effective. Let's jump back into my sales though. $1,790. in gross sales, $1,037 in net sales. That's just really good, for mid-March, and I'm doing this part-time. Really happy with that. Average gross per sale, $45.89. Average net per sale is $26.59. My average net per sale is right around $20. So my average net per sale is up quite a bit here. My net profit margin was 58%. My average there is 56%. So it's basically the same. You see, I got 16 new listings live and 39 sales. Look at that weekend, though. Let's say I sold 5 on Friday, 11 on Saturday, and 10 on Sunday. So just a really good weekend. $232 was the cost of goods for items that sold over the last 7 days. I spent $247 on marketplace fees and $258 on shipping labels. My average time to list was 11 days. So that's the time between me obtaining an item and actually getting it listed. So you want that number to be as low as possible. I'm going through some older inventory right now. Usually I list stuff basically the day that I get it, but I'm going through some older inventory right now. So that's why my average time to list is higher than normal. And my average time to sell is 6 months. So that's the time between it being listed and it being sold. So that means the average age of what I sold was 6 months. A lot of new sellers really get impatient. Honestly, they just think like, why isn't my stuff selling? There you go. 6 months, my average time to sell. So depending on what you're selling, some stuff just takes a long time to sell. You just need to be a little bit more patient. My ROI for the last 7 days was 446%. All right, let's jump into those top 10 sales and see what actually was selling this week. Coming in at number 10 is this J. Crew corduroy hooded jacket. You'll see that I did use a stock photo on this. I had a really hard time getting a good looking photo for this jacket, which was new with tags. I don't always use stock photos. It is a risk. You can get a Vero claim, a takedown for using stock photos. Some brands care, some brands don't. I typically just shy away from doing it, but every once in a while, if I think the item's going to sell relatively quickly and I don't have a history of getting a Vero claim or a takedown in that category or for that brand, I will use a stock photo like I did here. This sold for $62.98. That's $55.99 plus $6.99 in shipping. It took 13 days to sell, so pretty quick. The net return for the 10th best flip of the week was $36.07 for this J. Crew hooded jacket here. J. Crew is a good brand. I think they're less popular than they used to be. It's pretty saturated. I sort of expected this one to take a little bit longer to sell than it actually did, but I do think it's a relatively new model jacket and there's people looking for it. So that's why it went a little bit quicker. Coming in at number 9, this was my surprise of the week. This is a True Religion branded hat. It's kind of like what I called a newsboy cap. I couldn't think of a better term for it, but I was shocked at the value of this thing. It sold in 2 days for $56.98. That's $49.99 plus $6.99 in shipping. Turns out True Religion is a desirable brand, more desirable than I thought. And in fact, the hats in particular had a really good sell-through rate. And there just weren't many hats like this one in particular. On the back, it had a little Buddha stitching. And I think a lot of their hats and a lot of their clothing has this Buddha logo on it, which is desirable. I just couldn't believe this thing sold in 2 days. And when I checked the comps on it, I was expecting $15, $20, but as you can see, I pretty quickly got over $50 for it. The net return for the 9th best flip of the week was $38.13. I'll definitely keep an eye out for True Religion. I in my head, I sort of just grouped it together with like Lucky brand, but I think it's just better than Lucky or other brands like that, BKE and other kind of mall brands like that. True Religion, I guess, is just a little bit more desirable and a little bit higher value. Coming in at number 8, these Bates men's tactical shoes. I think these are shoes that like police officers wear. I think. I got these at a garage sale 6 months ago. I paid $3. In fact, I got 4 or 5 pairs from the same garage sale. I'm not exactly sure why they had so many. I bought all of them, though, because I knew that they were going to be a pretty good seller. This sold in 6 months for $60.98. That's $53.99 plus $6.99 in shipping. The net return for the 8th best flip of the week was $39.31. When I picked these up, I did not know the brand Bates. I comped them and saw that they sold pretty well. Then I got home and did some more research on them and found out that they were common among first responders and police officers and security guards and things like that. So they have like a steel toe there, non-slip sole. You'll see I did have a cancellation on this several months ago because I had an error in the listing. I had it listed as an 8.5. Coming in at number 7, this is the only pair of Maui Jim sunglasses on this week. So no need for me to come up with interesting stories about Maui Jim every single time. But these sold for $77.38. That's $70.39 plus $6.99 in shipping. The net return for the 7th best flip of the week was $51.30 on these Maui Jim Pakawai. Is that how you pronounce that? Pakawai Arch sunglasses. Anyway, Maui Jim, great brand. Definitely pick them up if you see them. Coming in at number 6 are these Kobe Bryant Nike Mamba Rage. I got these at a garage sale back in August. This was at the one of the highway sales going through Ohio. I can't remember the name of the highway sale, but we were actually on vacation going to Cedar Point, driving back, and just happened to cross paths with this 100-mile long garage sale, or however long it was. But I picked these up at one of those garage sales. What did I pay for them? $5, and they sold for $80, free shipping. That's because they were going through eBay's authentication program, so I didn't have to pay anything to ship them. The net return for the 6th best flip was $64.52 on these Kobe Bryant Mamba Rage. 7 months to sell. Kind of surprising they took that long. I did have to drop the price a little bit, but glad to get them out the door. Coming in at number 5, another set of these Polo Ralph Lauren wooden coat hangers. Y'all have seen me selling these on the channel lately. I think I only have one set left. Yeah, so I only have one set of 10 left. I have made a total of $305.91 as a net return out of a $6 investment when I bought about 70 of these at a garage sale. This one this week, the second to last one, sold for $89.98. That's $74.99 plus $14.99 in shipping. The net return for the 5th best flip of the week was $65 and a penny. So if you add $65 to the net return there, that means my last one that I sell, I will probably end up netting in total about $375 just off of this $6 investment. One of my favorite finds at a garage sale. A bunch of coat hangers for, making almost $400 net on a bunch of coat hangers is pretty awesome. Coming in at number 4 is this rag and bone oversized velvet jacket. This is one that my wife picked up at a Savers. I definitely would not have picked this up. I don't know enough about the category, especially at this price, $40, but I guess she knew it was going to be worth it. I think it had a price tag on it of like $180. We had it listed here for $130 plus $9.99 in shipping, which is what it sold for in about a year, though. It did take a while. The net return for the 4th best flip of the week was $74.80. Again, using a stock photo there. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You do run a risk using the stock photo, but we made out okay on this one. So coming in at number 3, these Oakley Clifton sunglasses. You can see that they did have some scratches on the lens, which I did disclose. They still sold for just over $100. $101.22. That's $94.23 plus $6.99 in shipping. The net return for the 3rd best flip of the week. 3rd best flip of the week was $77.42. Did take 29 days to sell. Came from a bulk buy. My purchase price into it was $5.20 for these Oakley sunglasses. Coming in at number 2 is this Nikon D3400 body only. This is a SLR digital camera. It did come with the battery. It did not come with the charger or the cap right there. And so you can see down here, I did buy the charger for $6.59 and the body cap there for $9.37 off of eBay. I felt like it was going to have a better chance of selling, especially with that cap on there, because a buyer doesn't want to buy something without the cap on it there. So I went ahead and bought both of those just to make it a little bit more of a complete set here. It sold for $134.99. The net return for the 2nd best flip of the week was $90.73. I got this thing charged up. I got it cleaned. It works great. And so I was really happy to get this one out the door for the 2nd best flip of the week. That leaves us with number 1. This is not a standard thing that I buy and sell. This is a Hartman branded leather suitcase. A very interesting suitcase here. Sold for $194.14. That's $169.15 plus $24.99 in shipping. It did take a while to sell, 6 months. We got it at a Savers for only $5. I didn't know anything about Hartman, never heard this brand. This was sitting with all the other luggage and it stood out. It just looked different. It looked better in some way. Had some nice clamps on it and it just really seemed high quality. And so I comped it, and turns out these things go for quite a bit. And the bag section of a thrift store is one of my favorite places just to find inventory. I find it's often overlooked by other resellers, but you can find a ton of money in bags. And I've bought and sold tons of bags found at thrift stores over the years. This is one of the better ones. Probably not the best one, but one of the better ones. Looks like it cost $20.82 to ship, so a little bit less than what we charged the buyer. The net return, though, for the best flip of the week was $140.48 on this Hartman belting leather suitcase. Really cool piece. Well, now that the lights are out, we can talk. What are we going to talk about today? I'm not really sure. Should we turn some lights on? Let's get a light on here. Actually, no, it's not a real light. See, I could just, once the screen goes black, I can do anything. I can, in post-production, in the edit, I can just put anything here to make you think that I'm turning on like an old school lamp, or maybe a fire. Let's turn a fireplace on really quick. There you go. There's a fireplace. I did go to the first garage sale of the season this past Saturday. Only one garage sale we could find in the area, and it was still pretty cold out, but we went to it and didn't find anything good. I bought a bag of pens. I like buying pens at garage sales. Always feel like I never have pens around the house, and you can go to the store. Pens are expensive. So anytime I see pens at a garage sale, I typically will buy them. This one was a giant bag of a bunch of good pens for $1, and they'll last me at least for a year. And didn't get them to resell. This is, this garage sale, I find that garage sales kind of fall into a couple different categories. Like the best garage sales are the ones where people just want to get rid of their stuff, and so they're like, yeah, just making deals, doing whatever. And then you definitely run into the garage sales where people they don't understand the concept of a garage sale. Like they're pricing things at market values, like eBay values, or even brand new values, and you just can't do that at a garage sale. Like the chances that someone's going to come by and spend $300 on your used Dyson hairdryer it's just not going to happen at a garage. I won't say it's not going to happen. The chances of it happening are very, very low. The only people that are going to be spending that amount of money at a garage sale randomly are resellers. And I'm using this Dyson hairdryer example because it was at this garage sale, and I picked it up and looked at it. It was in good condition, but I think they wanted $300 for it. And they said they paid $450 for it. I was like, well, great, but you're not going to get that at a garage sale. People aren't just walking around randomly wanting to buy someone's used hairdryer for $300 at a garage sale, unless you're a reseller. So I offered them $12. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't try to haggle them. It was clear that they wanted a lot for it. But so yeah, garage sale season kind of back. I don't think it really picks up here until April. We'll still try to go during the weekends, but I don't think it'll really kick off until April. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.